Welcome to the demo. Today we will talk about a couple of things. First of all, 2.29. I think packages are already released. I've seen the notification Slack that 2.29 is already available everywhere. Right now, our documentation team is merging documentation, and it should be till the end of the day in Europe. It should be all done and released. So, as planned, today is the release day. And yeah, so this is going fine, will be released today. Any questions to that, to the 29? Anyone has any comments? No? Okay, so looks like we don't have many topics to cover today. I would like to show you my work I done for Podman, but from the different perspective. It's like I called it documentation as a script. So the problem was I was developing the documentation for Podman, as I said, and what it actually does, it's adding just a documentation for the how to install everything with Podman. So if you look into that, sorry. So if you look into the documentation for Podman, which is available, is 2.29, will be released today, as I said, but let's just look how it looks like. That is number of instructions, like how to set up your server, right? And it's similar to Docker, but with less steps and some differences, like how do you do that in user space? You need the service to start the Podman, etc., etc. So all of that was written. And then I asked myself, like, okay, I really don't like our documentation from the perspective that it's going old, right? Sometimes the flags are changing, sometimes maybe we change some service. For example, here, if you find the bug, but we forget to update documentation or something, and it's going on. So I was thinking about that and then realized that I would like to write the test for my documentation. And that's what I actually did. So soon it will be available in main, but I will show you how I did it. So I figured out the couple of approaches to the testing of the Markdown. First of all, I found this really old tool, Markdown doc test, but it doesn't support bash scripting and it's quite old. It's not maintained. And I continued my journey, like how I can do that. I found for sure org mode. Like this is probably a way we should do documentation, but probably it's not adopted and we don't do that. Probably org mode will be the perfect scenario when you can embed the code in documentation and test it and execute it. But also, I found out a couple of hints here. It's like how to test code blocks in Markdown document. And there was a nice example with PenDoc. So what idea here is that PenDoc can generate you abstract tree of the document, and then you go and just stripe out the documentation from, well, not documentation, the code blocks from that. And that was a nice idea. And I said, okay, let me try that. I tried to play with JQ, but the problem we have is that structure of our documentation is not super consistent. You have a different blocks. So some elements are here in this level, some elements on different level, sub-levels, etc. And it makes almost impossible to build a nice JQ for that. But I still figure out how to do that and build pipeline that just stripes the documentation from the Markdown file and put it in the sh file, which I then simply execute. So here I execute it. And if all the instructions in the row are working fine, then the documentation is probably correct. And this led me to a couple of things, is that, first of all, you start to think how you write the documentation, like, are you putting all the right steps? in the right direction and that people can easily follow it or like copy paste it and execute. And while writing the Podman doc, I will show you on the example of Docker, there are some mistakes, I mean, we make, because usually you copy paste it from here and there, and maybe some environment is not set, or you're assuming something that is not true. So that's what I did. I created small filter and use pandoc to strip the documentation. How documentation looks like, let me show. I mean, this is just markdown text, right? So if you'll go to the setting up servers, server and Podman, there is nothing you will see here that is different from like a simple markdown document. Sorry that it's white, but and yeah, this is how you write documentation. So this is just SH blocks. It strips out all the SH blocks and put it in the file. And for sure, to be able to make it like that, I wrote documentation so people can copy paste it, right? So I just not saying that's like create this file, unit file, but I said, okay, here's how you create the file, right? So this is also will be automated for my script. And that is like go in sequence. Sometimes you need to do something. And I don't know if this also need to be documented or this will be overloading documentation, but sometimes you need to set some tags or, for example, here I'm waiting for the resources to not delete it immediately. It's also kind of test. So you can input, like you can put the hidden blocks. It's just HTML, right? So it's embedded HTML markdown, and that's how I worked out the need for adding some additional steps that are hidden from the users. And that's all actually. And what this script does is just, for example, here I said the different tags because 2.29 wasn't available. I cannot test it, right? So to test the upgrade, backup upgrade steps. And that's all. And I wrap it in the workflow, GitHub workflow, as you've seen. That prepares the environment to run. For example, if you need to install something before, like here I do not need anything because Ubuntu already, like Ubuntu latest already has Podman. But if you have some pre-install steps, you can do that. For example, you bring in up database, and if you need some for your documentation, and then everything, all environment available for you for the tests. And then I just run it, and in case of failure, just collect some information. Same I did for Helm. Same stuff. Minikube also was already available, and I just executed documentation for Helm. Any questions so far? Nope. And I want to show you how it's fine, how it works, right? So it's really simple to use it locally as well. So what you need is only pandocs, right? So you just execute, like you can create the script right away, or you can just execute the pandoc on your, for example, easy install, right, script, and it will give you all the code blocks inside, and you can see the sequence, you can figure out what will be executed, and you can just execute it if you, like, for example, easy install, right? And it will execute its install for you. You check it locally if it works, and if your documentation is correct, you just commit it into the code. So you can test it locally, or you can then commit to the GitHub, and action will test it for you as well. So it's really easy to use both locally and as the testing framework for documentation. So this is my proof of concept, how I did it. And maybe we should adopt it for all documentation. For example, I found the bug in the Docker MD because there is one step that assumes that there is a server directory. But there is none. Before, in the steps above, this directory wasn't created and didn't exist. So I will show you. So in the restore step, here we assume that we copy paste from SRV, but in the backup step here, we actually created special directory for that. So there is no SRV. And like I executed the script, immediately had the issue inside the terminal saying me, hey, I don't know what is SRE. So that's how I found this bug. So I think it's really useful. And yeah, this is my demo. Any questions? No? So what do you think? Should we adopt this kind of documentation testing for our at least simple documentation? We probably cannot test like AWS with this and other stuff because it's UI based, but for instruction like shell scripts, what do you think?
I think that would be nice. And but it should be like a kind of part of release process. So like it's like how we run unit tests on server. So in case if we break something, we can fix it.
Yeah, let me show you. That's I will show you the recent PR. So as that is the workflow, right? GitHub workflow. I said it like, okay, execute this on main branch always. If something commits to main, it will be executed, and pull request only when the file is changed. So if you look into any PR, let me find if there is anything. For example, 2.29. If it touches these files, you see the tests are running. So this is a part, as you said, of CI pipeline that it's like, if you break something, it will report a fail and you will not be able to commit your code. So it's kind of by design already embedded into CI. Sveta, does it answer?
Yeah, thank you.
This looks good. Dennis, do you want to talk to Alex Firu about it so he can be aware of it from a technical writing standpoint?
Sure. I mean, Rasika is here. Puneet is here. Sure. If Alex is not here, then I will for sure talk with him.
Yeah, this is great. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, no problem. All right. So that's done from me. If there are no more questions, Andrew, please. You have a couple of topics to show us.
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. So, actually, I have two things to represent. First one is the issue that logs.zip can contain passwords, and actually, the issue was about so for instance, if someone sets for instance email notifications or integration with the Slack for alert manager and applies changes, and sometimes customers sends their logs to customer support, and before the changes actually alert manager.yaml had unfiltered data here, and now it's a secret. And actually it applies to a lot of fields in the config, such as HTTP config or WAUS config and so on and so forth. So yeah, this one is simple, but actually improves security a little bit. So, any questions?
So I was out. I remember we were talking about the same features in the upstream. Did you reuse that or you implemented separate?
So yeah, actually, I merged a couple of structures from the upstream, and actually they had this feature already implemented, but a little bit different way. So they use custom structures and use them to during the unmarshalling and marshalling process. And my solution is a little bit different. So it actually based on reflect and based on structured tags. So if you want to hide something, you can just set a secret tag true, and that's all.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. So and
So any
the
question to
second-
this log, the secrets? Andrew? Okay, really nice work. I think that's problem we solved is the hide the secrets that were present before in the configuration files, right? So
yeah.
okay, cool. Thanks. And
yeah, the second is more like feature or improvement. Is a proof of concept for Postgres vacuum monitoring. And here is a dashboard. So yeah, we can show what's actually going on. So yeah, I'm running sysbench to emulate a workload, and so I try to prepare a huge table with indexes just to show these two queries. It's a number of completed vacuum cycles and duration of vacuum execution by stages, and so it looks like vacuum configured correctly, and or maybe I don't have a so huge table.
Do you have
So-
a metric for the dead tuples?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, here's this. Dead rows, but actually so since it's proof of concept, actually I just show metrics without any processing, and so it's basically
So actually, the tuple statistic is like it should be highlighted somehow, or at least the graph be at the top, because that's what you want to fix with vacuums, right? With regular vacuums, not with the ones that have locking to the ones that return the space to the file system. So what you want to monitor is that the percentage of the tuples on your tables are under X%, 5%, 3%, whatever you decide, and then that's how you tune the vacuum frequency with the cost and all those parameters. So maybe if we make the row the tuples, I actually use tuples, which is more popular in the Postgres community, and rows as the main metric. I think it will be more useful. I don't know if Chino is here or someone from the Postgres, but that's on my experience in Postgres is that what you want to monitor and keep it low, it's the tuples.
Okay. So
unfortunately, we don't have Hamid or anyone else from the Postgres team, but yeah, that's something to get back to them and maybe show them this PoC and check it out. Thanks. Yeah, Andrew, go ahead.
Yeah, so actually I had this Google document with all those queries, and I think that I need to reorganize graphs here, maybe to apply some PromQL queries just to show information in better format. Because right now it's just metrics and without any post-processing and that's all.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough for the PoC. Yeah, this is like exactly to get the feedback and figure out what makes sense to show and what is not, and how we then need to represent this information.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Any questions to Andrew? No? All right. So I think this is more or less what was in our list. I mean, we were busy with the release. The most of our efforts were targeting that. So we had only these 3 topics to demo today. Any other questions? Anything we need to discuss? Anyone wants to bring something? No? Okay, then thank you very much for participation. I hope you enjoyed the demo, and I see you around. Have a nice day, evening, or morning. Depends where you are. Bye-bye.